Let's start with the sentence that we hear from salon owners all the time. I just don't have enough time. Or I don't have enough time to train. There's not enough time to plan. There's not enough time to lead. There's not enough time to even breathe. And if that's ever come out of your mouth, I know it's definitely come out of mine. We want you to know you are not wrong, but you are misdiagnosing the problem because this isn't actually a time issue, it's a priority issue. And once you see the difference, everything changes.
Mm, man, that's so true, Jen. Because most salon owners wake up already behind, if we're being totally honest. Before the day even starts, their mind is already racing. There's staffing questions, client issues, numbers they should be checking, conversations they're avoiding, fires they hope don't ignite. Just even this morning, we had somebody on our team who put in her resignation. And yes, we knew probably eventually she was going to be moving, but it caught us off guard. And, a strong leader in that situation doesn't get caught up in that story and doesn't then let that turn into a gossip or rumor mill, or you just handle it and move on because things like that happen. But somebody who's not as well versed in that will create stories and let that be something in their life for 1 day or 7 days or however many days they allow it to go on. And when stuff like that happens, the day feels like it can begin in reaction mode if you're not aware. And really, that's not happening because someone's disorganized. And it's not because somebody doesn't care, but it's because no one ever taught them how to decide what matters first. So everything feels urgent. And when everything is urgent, nothing is prioritized.
I love that you said that. What did you say? When everything is
Is
urgent, nothing is prioritized?
mhm.
Oh, yeah, it's so good. Because truly, like, here's something that most people don't say out loud. Salon owners don't struggle because they're bad at time management. They struggle because they're emotionally loyal to everything. You can probably see yourself in that situation. I know been there before too. They don't want to disappoint their team. They don't want to drop the ball with guests. They don't want to feel like they're neglecting any area of business. They want to have it all together. So instead of choosing priorities, they try to carry everything. I mean, I just imagine like a ton of 10,000 pounds of bricks in a book bag on your back. Like if you've ever felt like that as a salon owner, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And, when you try to carry everything, that's truly when the overwhelm creeps in.
So true, Jen. I think we can all relate to that 10,000 bricks in a backpack for sure. But here's the shift that changes everything, because time doesn't create success. You guys, time doesn't create success, priorities do. And if you could add 5 extra hours to your day, but you'd probably still feel behind. And especially if you're working on the wrong things. Meanwhile, some salon owners seem calm. They seem grounded. They're ahead of the curve, if you will, not because they have more time, but because they have fewer priorities and they protect them fiercely.
Mhm. So let's gently challenge the belief underneath the stress. This is a good one. If I just work harder, I'll catch up. If I just work more, I'll catch up. If I just do more of this, I'll catch up. But when you really think about it, like working harder inside chaos doesn't create progress. It actually creates fatigue. When you think of progress, pro means forward, gress means step. So when you're making progress, you're actually moving forward. Like,
Mhm.
so working harder inside chaos doesn't move you forward. It actually creates fatigue. I
Mm.
remember being in the industry for many years. I actually watched my grandmother probably work harder than me. I don't even know if that was possible, but maybe. As in, I remember working like 60 hours behind the chair. She might have worked
Mhm.
63, okay, 60 plus hours, right? Working more and, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, if I just do more clients, if I oh yeah, no problem. Already got a 12-hour day. It's okay. Just yeah, put Susie Q in there. It's okay. What's another hour?" Right? And so like we would work these 60 plus hours a week, 5 to 6, 7 days a week, and then I would look at ourselves and I would think, "Wow, well, I put in those extra hours." You would think, we would see a lot of growth, but truly we weren't growing because what I had to discover and learn is that it can never be a one person show. And, I think I love my grandmother. She taught me so many incredible things. She was a salon owner and a hairstylist. As I think that was the one thing that kept her stuck is she could never get past like 3, 4, 5 employees is because she truly viewed what she was doing as a one person show. She would do it all.
Mhm.
Because when you think about that, like, hard work without direction doesn't compound. Like, it just repeats itself. I saw my grandmother doing it, I repeated it. I thought that was the way to do it. And when you think about that, repetition without intention becomes burnout. And what actually moves a salon forward isn't effort, it's deciding what deserves effort right now.
Oh, Jen, I love that story. I mean, obviously, I can relate to thinking, hey, if you just work harder, that things will get easier and, it'll eventually grow. And, I think it actually reminds me, we've been doing a lot of yearly growth sessions with team members right now, this time of year. And back in the day, I used to have them set, like 10 goals. I don't even remember. It felt like 52, you know. But what we learned was their eye was on the wrong prize. Like, we know what can help them move the needle forward and what can help them get the lifestyle that they desire. And so, man, just doing that, like, everyone leaves feeling refreshed. And, you guys, this is truly where the shift happens. It's when you stop being someone who reacts to the day, or you stop teaching people to be someone who reacts to the day and start being someone who sets the rhythm. You don't ask, what do I need to do today? You ask, what matters most this week? Because weekly priorities do something powerful. They quiet the noise, they remove guilt, they create momentum without force. And suddenly, leadership feels lighter. It's an amazing place to be at.
Mhm. It just reminds me of that story you just told, Lindsay,
Mhm.
about, someone that just left today, who
Yeah.
got the message, right?
Yep.
Is like, in that moment, like, some people would be like, "Oh my gosh, what do I need to do with this? Oh my gosh, we just had this one-hour conversation with her. I thought she was good to go. Oh my gosh, what are we gonna do now with, so and so that she's working with?" Like, that would be so easy to get stuck in that instead of just
Mhm.
saying, "Hey, what matters most this week? What matters most is that, um, she's moved on, and what matters most is that we're gonna move on too." And so, like,
Mhm.
it is so really incredible. I love what you said, that you stop being someone who reacts to the day and start being someone who actually sets the rhythm.
Mhm.
And when I think about that, this is exactly why weekly planning matters so much. Not planning your entire year, not mapping out every minute, just deciding like what deserves focus this week, what can actually wait, what doesn't matter right now. And that's the purpose of the Salon Success Calendar. It truly doesn't add more task, it actually removes decision fatigue. It tells you, hey, this is what matters now. So instead of spending energy wondering what to prioritize, you spend energy actually leading.
Ah, yeah. So if you've been saying, I just don't have enough time, take a breath. You're not broken. Your salon isn't failing. You're not behind. You just haven't been given a clear framework for priorities yet. And once you have that, time stops feeling like the enemy and starts feeling like a tool. Next week we're going even deeper because priorities don't just affect you, they affect your team. And that's where everything compounds.
Yeah. So if weekly clarity sounds like what you've been craving, take a look at the salon success calendar and see if supports the way you want to lead this year. It's www.salonsuccesscalendar.com. And just remember, no matter what, stay with us, you guys, because clarity is coming.